Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the controversy surrounding the social media influencer Jimmy Donaldson, who is otherwise known as Mr. Beast? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. So first I'll go through the background of Jimmy Donaldson, then I'll move to my analysis. Jimmy Donaldson was born in Kansas on May 7, 1998. When he was 13 years old, he started uploading videos to YouTube. He made videos where he would try to guess how much money a content creator on YouTube made, and he would record himself playing video games. His big break would come in 2017 when he made a video where he literally counted to 100,000. So this idea of taking something ordinary and just going to the extreme with it became kind of a popular theme in his work. This would mark a shift in his content. He now started creating these videos where he would give people thousands of dollars for completing various tasks. So they would compete in a challenge, or sometimes he would just give random people money. This whole idea of kind of surprising people by moving money around. His channel started to become popular. He hired several of his friends who formed the Mr. Beast team. This team would help him produce videos. Eventually, the number of employees would reach 50. Donaldson has achieved an incredible level of fame on YouTube. He has 6 channels, but I'm just going to talk about his main channel. At the time of making this video, we see a number of shocking statistics on Social Blade, a website that tracks that information. His channel has almost 62 million subscribers. It has been viewed over 10.5 billion times. In terms of subscribers, he has the 17th largest YouTube channel in the world. In the last 30 days, he's added 2.8 million subscribers, and the channel has been viewed 642 million times. It is not unusual for one of his videos to be viewed at least 40 or 50 million times. Some have been viewed more than 100 million times. As far as his content, here are a few video titles from his channel that I think represent what he does fairly well. Offering people $100,000 to quit their job. Would you sit in snakes for $10,000? Selling houses for $1. I bought a private island. I bought everything in 5 stores. Going through the same drive-through 1,000 times, and I built the world's largest Lego tower. The videos involve a lot of laughing, yelling, or generally talking more loudly than necessary. There's a lot of impulsive behavior as well. His format has been referred to as stunt philanthropy, giving away thousands of dollars to all types of people. As I mentioned, some are selected at random. He records their reactions, like being surprised, that's a big one. Most of the money given away comes from sponsors. Donaldson has suggested that once a person knows how to make a video go viral, it's really about making as many videos as possible. He said you can practically make unlimited money. In addition to having other channels, as I mentioned, Donaldson has started a number of other businesses, tech companies, an online hamburger store. He has a gaming app. So he is diversifying. Now moving on to the controversy. Many of the difficulties that Donaldson has experienced are summed up pretty well in an article written about him in the New York Times. I'll put the reference to that article and the other sources I used in the description for this video. Interestingly, even though Donaldson wants more fame than he has now, he declined to be interviewed for that story. Here are a few of the problems pointed out in that article. Some of Donaldson's early videos contained some offensive content. Some of his former employees said that working for him was not always easy. There was bullying and favoritism going on. There was an editor who worked for Donaldson named Matt Turner. He said that Donaldson berated him almost every day, including calling him by a phrase used to insult people with mental disabilities. Another young man named Nate Anderson said that Donaldson made unreasonable demands. Like Donaldson wanted things a certain way. He wanted everything to be perfect. In addition to these problems, some of Donaldson's fans lost significant amounts of money in this cryptocurrency scheme that Donaldson promoted. These issues have not really impeded Donaldson. He continues to grow. He's incredibly popular, particularly among a very young audience, like teenagers and younger. Now moving to my analysis. As far as the way Donaldson achieved his fame and fortune, we see a lot of disagreement across many dimensions, like there are many areas that people either like about him or don't like about him. His offensive statements and controversies with a few of his employees don't really seem to be a major source of criticism. Rather, the central idea behind his content seems to attract concern, like the format of his videos. At the same time, of course, this format is why tens of millions of people like him. Let's look at the arguments both for and against the idea that Donaldson's strategy is helpful, intelligent, a good idea, and in general that it makes sense. Starting with the idea that it's good. His fans tend to say that Donaldson is a creative entrepreneur. He's in a competitive business, and yet he has achieved massive success. He gives away or facilitates the transfer of thousands of dollars to people in need, like he is generous, altruistic, he is helping people. This content isn't hurting anyone, and it can be entertaining for some people. Again, mostly younger people. Now moving to those who are not fans, what do they say? Donaldson's videos have zero educational or artistic value. He represents the worst of the social media influencer phenomenon. The videos are loud and obnoxious and have no substance or meaning. It's like, look at me because I'm flashier, noisier, or more obnoxious than my competitors. Look at me because I can outspend my competitors. In a sense, he is a metaphor for the absurdity of certain types of social media fame. The last part that his detractors mention is the idea that his audience, again, is very young, and they worry if his message is really the one that that audience should be receiving. So what are my thoughts on this? The content that Donaldson makes is not interesting to me in a traditional sense. Like, I don't appreciate it for what it's supposed to be. I don't find it funny, entertaining, clever, inspiring, witty, exciting, interesting, beneficial, exemplary, adequate, or admirable. But I do think it provides a learning opportunity, an opportunity to learn what can be popular with younger audiences. Every channel has learning value in that way. It's just the learning value may be different than what the content creator intended. Here's what I think of Donaldson's strategy. Long before the days when there were limits to how many times you could enter a password into a website or into software that was locked, there was a hacking strategy that could be performed by a purpose-built application. The strategy was referred to as brute force. Say the actual password to get into a program was 1234, like from the movie Spaceballs. The hacking software would simply keep entering characters sequentially until the correct password was stumbled upon. The program just keeps moving up and going through every possible combination. It is not a sophisticated method, but at least during that time, it was effective. I think that Donaldson's format is really based on that same concept. Will giving away $1,000 get people to watch a video? Maybe some, but what if you gave away $2,000? That might be more interesting. What if you gave away $10,000? Now that's going to start to draw a significant audience. What about $100,000 or even more? Those videos become extremely popular. They have a shock value, and people start to get curious about the transfer of that type of money. It's really a strategy of reduction. What is it that people really want to see? What's valuable to people without necessarily putting any type of intelligent thought into it? Can it be reduced to something basic? And if it can, if you can figure out what people want, can you increase that variable to some type of extreme? Can you just push past any known limit and modify that variable until you attract a large audience? Adding more, after all, is a straightforward process. Again, for any particular video, whatever dollar amount is being given away, that amount can be increased. So it's really very linear and, again, very simple. In a way, Donaldson has managed how he plans out the donations or the prizes, just like one would consider the volume on a radio. Just keep increasing it until you reach enough of the audience to be satisfactory. You turn the volume to one setting. Can people hear it? No, turn it up. It really is that simple. All you need to do is be louder. Noise is all that is required. Donaldson gives his audience exactly what they want: extremes, excess, over-the-top, shocking demonstrations. He has dazzled them with the extremes of wealth, with some videos involving a quantity of money that some people may never earn in a lifetime. It is a lot like Evel Knievel, the famous daredevil. He knew that if he could jump over 5 cars, he would get a reaction. He could then jump over 10 and get more of a reaction. The difference, of course, is that with Evel Knievel, jumping over 10 cars instead of 5 required considerably more skill. All Donaldson has to do is put more money into the equation, and that's something that he has a lot of because of the sponsors. They're willing to do it, in theory, because it's worth it to them to do it. In a way, what Donaldson is doing is no different than what a lot of people do. If someone starts a restaurant and over the course of a year they make $50,000 profit, there might not be anything else they can do to increase the efficiency of that particular restaurant, but they can open other locations. If they open 10 restaurants in total that perform at the same level, now they're making $500,000. So what do I think of Donaldson overall, with all this in mind, with all this information and analysis in terms of his strategy and how it works? On the positive side, I think that Donaldson has found a way to be successful without having any notable traditional level of talent. He created a simplistic strategy that was not really used on social media before he tried it, at least not to any serious extent. His idea was really novel. I don't know if what he's doing will continue to be popular in the future, but he has diversified, so that might not matter. He's made the money, he started other businesses, so if his popularity wanes, he would still be okay. Donaldson has been able to parlay his fame as a social media influencer into a number of other enterprises. On the negative side, social media has given opportunities to be recognized to many people who have talent. It has also given opportunities to people without talent. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but I hope that young audiences are mindful of who is and who is not a good role model as far as obtaining a meaningful career. There aren't too many employers interested in hiring someone whose only skill on their resume is listed as, "I know how to spend more money." Like the interviewer would say to a candidate, "So we spend $1,000 a month on our marketing budget. What would you do with that money?" "Oh, I don't know anything about what I would do with that money, but I would make it $10,000. Right? So there's just a limit to the idea of increasing the amount of money for any given action. It's not actually a great strategy for life in general. It only seems to work in very narrow circumstances, like in a number of instances related to social media. So it is important not to expand that extreme strategy to every part of someone's life, right? So some people may not be the best role models for making a living and being efficient. That doesn't mean those people aren't entertaining. Those are my thoughts on Jimmy Donaldson. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be interesting. Thanks for watching.